Hi guys. I found a AITA Reddit post that's about a crazy wedding with a crazy mom. And sometimes weddings can make people do crazy things. So I wanted to share this with you and see what you guys think of this whole entire situation. So here it is. AITA for helping my brother run away from his wedding. I have two older brothers. This is about the middle one. Our parents divorced when I was very young due to our mother's insane jealousy. At first, my dad was able to handle it, but when she started making comments about me wanting to be like his wife, he had enough. She quickly rebounded with a guy with two kids and had shared custody for a while. But when my dad got remarried, she went crazy, calling his new wife every horrible name and claiming he was cheating on her while they were married. I was always closer to my brothers and dad than my mom because she was always very mean to me. Long story short, my stepmom died in a bad car accident and my dad called her in the middle of the night letting her know he would pick us up earlier so we could attend the funeral, and she decided to take us on a fun trip to celebrate something. It was the happiest we have ever seen her, and when we realized what happened and started crying, she told us only worthless people cry for blank. Needless to say, things went nuclear and my dad asked for full custody with visitation for her. He always left the line of communication open and paid for us to visit her when she moved away, but it was still very bad. And as soon as we turned 18, we started to lower contact with her. Last time we saw her was on my high school graduation, where she made a point of letting everyone who would hear we were ungrateful kids, and her husband called us bad names too. Been no contact since then. My brother Sam started dating his ex 3 years ago. She has heard all the stories and the reasons we are no contact, but she believed we are just being dramatic. They had many issues due to her opinions, but she eventually seemed to drop the, you need to reconcile with your mother crusade. During the wedding planning, there was no indication of things going wrong or fishy. Then we got to the church, and lo and behold, mom, husband, two kids were sitting at front. I immediately panicked and called my brothers. Sam, who maybe somehow thought she found out and wanted to crash, so he called his ex to let her know of the potential drama, but she told him it was fine since she invited them. Sam hung up and asked me to go get him while oldest brother dealt with things at the church. We went and barricaded ourselves there, even when his ex, her family, friends, etc. came to try and make sense with him. Mom's husband even called and said he always knew we were worthless. Now that the dust has settled, most of Sam's friends are on his side, and so is most of our families, meaning the dad's side of the family. Ex-parents already threatened to sue for the money they paid if he doesn't marry her, but Sam says he would rather pay them back for their contribution than marry someone that betrayed him. My nuclear family 100% supports Sam, but the backlash has been huge. Edit. You guys just reassured us all. Thank you. Some have commented about it, but no, she has not apologized. She even went as far as to text my older brother, Joe, that she thought it would be a good wedding present from my brother to her since she values family. My dad bought them a house as a wedding present, but only Sam is on the deed. She did have keys for when they moved there, but they just had the locks changed today, and Joe and some cousins are taking everything Sam owns from her flat during this week. We aren't worried about being sued, but we'll consult a lawyer just in case. We also heard from mom and her family are still in town, but since we are all staying at our childhood home for a few days, we don't care. My dad is sad that Sam is heartbroken, but is trying to cheer him up, along with my boyfriend and my sister in law. I had to delete and deactivate my messages because I keep getting nasty comments and messages. But the more people learn the reason Sam ran away, the less it gets. I am still sorry she felt humiliated, but my brother comes first. Edit number 2. We are 34, 32, and 28. Ex-sister-in-law is 30. Not in the US. I asked Joe about the church aftermath, and it was just as I expected. He said he stood up in front of everybody and told them Sam was not coming and to please go home, and all their gifts delivered to our side of the family will be given back ASAP. The ex was still outside the church when someone in her family informed her, and she started screaming and crying and calling Sam nonstop. Mom tried to talk to Joe that didn't look at her, and when she couldn't get a reaction out of him, she started crying loudly and laminating how horrible we are to her, and some people started consoling her. This is her MO. But Joe and his wife didn't care. When they went out of the church, the ex was expecting them and demanding to see Sam, but Joe said no. Then she demanded to know what to do with the party, and he said if she didn't want the venue, he would arrange for the food to be donated to staff so it wouldn't go to waste. Everybody was screaming except Joe because he didn't want to give Mom the satisfaction. They, meaning Joe and sister-in-law, came home after stopping at the supermarket and some fast food joints, and we have been inside like we were kids again, plus 2 more members. We asked Sam if he wanted them to go, but he said he wanted them there. We had all taken time off to spend family time after the wedding anyway, so it's not a problem at the moment. When the ex came to the gate, we knew she was not going to use the venue, so my sister-in-law called them with Sam's info, told them to take the food, and also send them some tips for their trouble. It seems we will get back all the alcohol that my dad paid for, so we will have a very drunk end of the year. A couple of people messaged me asking why our dad ever married our mom, and the answer is he really loved her and believed she was the nicest person ever. Turns out she wasn't, but she knew nobody, except I guess her nasty husband, would marry her unless she pretended to be nice. He considered staying with her until we were adults, but she kept getting worse. She used to get very nice, and he thought she was changing, and then she would change again. As per my ex-sister-in-law, we have no doubt she believes Mom is a nice person that has ungrateful children, because she is extremely charming, and for some people it's funny to make fun of others as long as it's not directed at them, but it still doesn't excuse the ex-sister-in-law. The only person Sam gave an explanation to was his boss, who was at the church, but he is very understanding and was pretty shocked of what Mom put us through since we are fairly adjusted, happy people. Our dad said it was a shock for all of us and we can stay home as long as we need. Sam is moving home for the time being. I showed my family post and they are moved by the niceness, but Sam wants you all to know X wasn't showing any concerning behavior, and he truly believed she understood his upbringing. He agreed to talk to her and her parents today, but only if it's at our home and we are there to support him. So it's going to be an interesting visit. Anyways, am I the a-hole? Now, this OP has several updates, which I'll get into a little later. But based on just this one post, this mom sounds narcissistic, sounds basically crazy. I mean, she sounds so selfish. It's all about me, 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 me. And like, oh, poor me, always playing the victim. But in reality, look at her kids. There is a reason why her kids went no contact with her. I mean, she's just nuts. I mean, when I read the story, I was like, what kind of mother would do this? You know? But hey, I give props to the dad. At least the dad can see what kind of damage it can possibly do to like the kids, and he got out of the situation. Good for him. That's what I think. And sometimes with weddings, they do bring out the worst in people. I mean, people do change when it comes to wedding planning. And the fact that this ex-sister-in-law went behind, her so-called, life partner, after finding, like, knowing what the OP's mom put all of them through and still invited her. I mean, that's so disrespectful. And I totally understand where OP's brother would be like, no, I'm not doing this. She's not the right person for me. I totally get it, because she genuinely broke the trust, So based on what you hear so far, what do you guys think? Do you think that the OP is actually the a-hole in this situation? Or would you have done the same thing for you if you were in her place? Let me know in the comment, okay? Now, here's the update from the OP. It goes, so I believe the OP gives 3 updates here. So the first update goes this. Sam lost some money, but is not going to hurt him. Her parents paid for her dress, a very fancy cake, and part of the honeymoon. X wasn't the most beloved in-law, but we truly believe she loves Sam. We have no contact with mom's side. Joe used to have some with grandma, but after his wedding, another beep show avoided, he cut her off too. Mom's comment about me wanting to be the wife came from her belief that it was not right for us to have daddy-daughter days or outings. The thing is, there were also Daddy Joe days and Daddy Sam days. He always tried to spend time with us alone and as a group. She is just sick. We don't advertise their childhood, so when people ask us about our parents, the standard answer is, just my dad, or just my siblings and dad. Most people assume mom is dead, and it helps avoid the whole inquiry about not talking to her. Mom's stepkids are both male and in their early 30s. Dad has a long-term girlfriend, but we like her a lot. She has been doing her own stuff these past few days, but she says we have her full support. Now the update. I was wondering why Sam accepted the meeting after not even talking to her, but turns out she sent videos and photos of all his things on the floor to his best friend, Tom, and told him that Sam either talked to her or she would burn and destroy it all. Wow, that is some crazy behavior. Tom came to visit Sam, told him what happened, and they informed her they need access to the flat before anything happens. Tom, Joe, a couple of cousins, and my BF went and took his clothes, electronics, important paperwork. Sam said he didn't care about the rest, even made a little joke about them being the fastest moving crew he knew. The meeting was, for the lack of a better word, a ridiculous event. She came with her parents and sister, tried to talk to Sam alone, but when he didn't allow it, she just started talking. Not once did she apologize. She said it's not her fault we didn't understand the value of a real family and we were raised to hate mothers. That her only intention was for Sam to learn to value mothers because she was scared he would take her children away from her because that is what he was taught to do. Sam didn't say anything until she threw this family is like a cult and you are a terrible father looking at my dad. As you can imagine, this is a sore spot for all of us, and we don't allow insults toward our dads under any circumstances. Sam just unloaded about how she was a hateful liar. He was disgusted he ever touched even her hand. He was grateful to the universe that I am chronically early to everything. He told her staying with the cheating husband as her mom does is nothing to be proud about. He said she pretended to be nice just so he would marry her, unloaded all the minor things that he was willing to overlook because he truly did love her, or at least who he thought she was. He said he would never forgive her for the hurt she caused his siblings, but he doesn't hate her. Because that would require him to spend energy thinking about her, and she doesn't get that. At the end, he says she had enough time to clear things, and since she has acted like a victim, he will be the one to let everybody know why he didn't show. It was brutal but cathartic and necessary for Sam. Her parents says nothing but was very red. She was crying. Her sisters attempted to defend her and their parents' relationship and were kind of expecting my whole family to argue too, but we didn't. Then Sam told his ex-father-in-law he could sue if he wanted, but if he did, Sam would expose all his family's dirty laundry to the world, and he doubts he wants that. Amazingly, the dad still argues Sam could try and make amends and marry his ex because they are not getting any younger, and all families fight. I've never rolled my eyes harder. Yeah, me too. The rest of the meeting went about logistics for the return of wedding gifts already received, stopping the harassments from their family, the cancellation and refund of the honeymoon, and the changing of the locks. X was just kept crying and trying to talk to Sam, but he was in business mode and didn't want anything from her. He only replied to her directly when she said she was keeping her engagement ring with nobody asked for it. They left without issues. When the booze were delivered, mom and husband sneaked through the gate when we opened it. She said she just wanted to talk to her babies, and my dad asked her to leave. She kept screaming he raised us wrong and we just embarrassed her with our behavior. She couldn't believe we were such bad people and we should start making amends with her because we clearly lack maternal love. She got that right. Yeah, I agree. They are definitely lacking maternal love, and that's a good thing. And this was the pathetic results. Yeah, this mom is really nuts and crazy. She's just so, ugh. At this point, Joe went out and told her to leave since the police were on their way. She took it as an opportunity to cry since it's the first time in about a decade he talked to her and tried to sweet talk him into going to grab dinner with her and her husband, but Joe just told her to leave, and the only news he ever wanted to hear related to her were the ones about her funeral so he can go celebrate. Wow, that is pretty brutal. And that's pretty mean, but kind of well deserved though. Cue hysterical crying, screaming from the husband, demanding an apology and threatening to hit Joe. Dad and Joe went back inside and left them there until we saw they left and closed the gate. It is hard for some people to understand why we react like we do, but the things I wrote about our mother are just like the tip of the iceberg. Yikes. I wonder what else is going on. Dad wasn't exactly proud of what Joe said, but he understood he needed to let it out, and he was speaking for all of us. Maybe that makes us bad people, but we truly don't want to see this woman ever again. We're all going to have some family therapy besides our individual ones. Sam doesn't want the house anymore, but my dad says to take it slow, and the first step is to mend his heart. We have had horror movies marathons and some Disney classics sprinkled here and there. We also had a drama bingo thing going on of all things that could possibly happen because I guess we are truly dramatic after all. We love each other and were raised to treat people well, but we can be petty when pushed. I also feel better knowing she humiliated herself, and while I wouldn't wish to be left at church to anybody, I would do it again because I love my brother more than I feel bad for her. We will be going on a family trip eventually, but right now we will continue our staycation. To the person that says Joe is a hero, his siblings couldn't ask for a better brother and friend. Now, update number 2. If you want to PM, it's fine, even if it's just to insult us, please. No, I will only answer in public form. Joe wasn't petrified. To the person who wrote me a mean essay about it, here is the answer. My brother spent time with me because they wanted to. We had special days together or with each other. They did all the activities they wanted, had friends, went on trips with me or alone, etc. There were nannies, family, my dad. They were never forced to take me with them against their will. They had a lot of freedom within reason. My parents divorced when I was 3. Even if there was shared custody, we stayed 90% with dad, and we never went to visit our mother unless we were in at least a pair. The only time Joe or Sam visited her after turning 18 was when I was requested to visit because they didn't want me to go alone. We have been in therapy for a very long time. We are just having special sessions because we saw our mother, but Joe is the only one that interacted with her. Also, please know we, as in Sam and I, know how to defend ourselves and didn't ask Joe to confront her. He did it by himself. Why didn't my dad go to church with Joe? Because he was asked by Sam to go home. We didn't think he needed to see that woman even if he had to talk to her after. Sam has cried. He is not a monster. He is heartbroken. Thought he would spend the rest of his life with the ex-sister-in-law. Thought he was a good judge of character. Thought he didn't have to see our mother ever again. There are many emotions going on, but because of our upbringing, we are very good at keeping our emotions at check in front of people we don't trust or like. It was a survival skill we developed to deal with how we were treated. Joe had a relationship with Grandma, but stopped talking to her after she invited Mother as her plus one. There was no religious ceremony, the venue had security, and there was a no entry list. He sent Grandma a letter and didn't talk to her again. We also didn't attend her funeral. Wow, that is... yeah. The wedding was about 250 guests. When making the wedding list and sitting charts, she used other names, which is how we didn't know about it. My dad requested that I inform you all that his kids are not alcoholics. He is worried people think that even if it's anonymous. Laugh out loud. Anyways, this week has been really chaotic. Those who said to be prepared for the pregnancy tactic was incredibly accurate. She posted it online. People were freaking out again and calling Sam asking if it was true. Sam called her and asked that she delete it. She continued claiming she was pregnant. He asked her to delete it and come talk about it. She deleted it, met up with Sam, and somehow this crazy woman thought he wanted her back. I went with Sam. She was very happy until she saw me enter the place. She started crying, holding her stomach, and when Sam asked if she was really pregnant, she said yes, and told him she didn't want her child to be from a broken family. Sam told her they were going to the doctor immediately to know for sure, and she cried even more, screaming he didn't trust her. I wouldn't either. Long story short, she isn't pregnant, but she posted Sam was forcing her to have an abortion and she was devastated. As you may imagine, this was a horrible thing to say. People are calling Sam because they are so whiplash from the drama they don't know what to believe anymore. This ex-sister-in-law sounds like a crazy lady, as crazy as the OP's mom. I mean, this is psychotic behavior. When my sister-in-law, Anna, found out about the post she called the ex-sister-in-law. I am unsure what was said in the conversation, but I also have never seen Anna this angry. The posts are down, but Anna wrote an email with all relevant information, including the ex-sister-in-law was never pregnant, and sent it to everybody in the wedding list. This morning, we heard from the ex-sister-in-law had a breakdown after leaving voicemails telling Sam if she couldn't be with him, she wanted to die. Wow. This is another tactic straight out of our mother's playbook, and Sam simply called the police and told them what happened. Her family forced her into therapy, and she is in observation now. It brings us no pleasure that it came to this, but we don't want to get involved anymore. We're also changing our numbers, already requested it. Our mother emailed Anna, threatening to sue her for defamation regarding the email blast, but we are not worried about it either. Anna's parents are amazing, and they have made it perfectly clear they are on our side and 100% agree with the way she handled things. Joe was enraged, but Anna convinced him to let it go and simply move on. Mother's husband has been a peach as usual. Dad is considering a restraining order, but they are not great in our country. We did have a few get-together at home yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. There was karaoke, dancing, nice food, drinks, games, and bouncy house because why not? We love them. Most people avoided the topic of the wedding and the post, but those who brought them up did it tactfully. Dad has already given away a lot of the alcohol to his employees. They got to choose what they wanted and got a bottle each. He is also adding bottles into his Christmas basket this year. We are going to spend the holidays together and traveling. I told Sam about the new paint for the house, but he just doesn't want to live there. He will rent it. I made a joke about me simply eloping and not having a proper wedding to avoid drama, and Joe told me in no uncertain terms I get the biggest party ever if I choose to. So yeah, he is still the best. Thank you for the nice comments and message. Not thanking the mean ones. The awards and the interest. Sorry for the nice ex-sister-in-law's name. But the FUs weren't for you. Okay. Update number 3. Thank you for all your interest. You are very nice and always a blast logging in and updates you on our cult. I like how this OP reacts. First, some points. Some comment I particularly lack a feminine figure in my life, but I have my grandma, aunts, etc. My dad's girlfriend, Rita, is not a mother figure. I don't feel I am a bad one because of it. When I had my period and told my dad, he had a whole thing prepared. Then he informed my brothers and each had a whole thing prepared themselves. They each had their own approach and the other didn't know about it. That sounds so lovely. Long story short, I had 3 men taking care of it and doing a presentation about it. It might sound super awkward for me, but was even more awkward for them. It's a hilarious story and remind me how much they thought about me all the time. Rita is amazing and we love her, but she has no problem not being married to my dad. My dad doesn't want to get married again. If he did, we would support him. Let's see. So ex-sister-in-law is okay. Her sister tried to make a huge drama and accused us of being horrible, but after the email sent by Anna, nobody is buying it. One of them was also dumped by her boyfriend because he didn't want to be related to a toxic family. Good for him. Let's see. We have new numbers and new message handles and are planning to move, Joe and I. Let's see. My dad wants all of you to know your applications to the cult have been accepted. Wow. This OP got jokes. Sam is doing well. He's taking time off of work. His boss is very understanding about him needing time and told him he can always come back. He is still living with dad and has some savings, so he is not worried about that aspect. Yeah, and let's see. And that's basically it. So based on what you guys heard so far from the updates and from the OP, doesn't that sound so exhausting? I mean, good for the OP and her siblings and her dad to just get away from all these toxic people. And the ex-sister-in-law, what is wrong with her? She's like the second version of the OP's mom. Unbelievable. I can't believe there are really people out there like that. But anyways, have you guys ever encountered people similar to this ex-sister-in-law and mother? I would love to hear about it. So leave it in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you later.